Hi guys! Today I wanted to talk to you about defining your photography style. Consistency is extremely important for a service provider photographer, and the reason is very basic. Your clients or potential clients are viewing your website, viewing your portfolio, imagining themselves in the images that you've shown them. So at a certain point, having a consistent look, having a consistent style really will help your client understand what they're getting from you out of your photography. So I've come up with 5 tips for you for helping you determine what your photography style is or what really resonates with you. What are some things that you like? My first tip for you as you start on this journey is to know your camera and know how the different lenses that you own function. This is crucial to defining your photography style because I believe firmly that you can't break a rule until you know the rule. Cameras and photography in general are science. They are science and technology mushed together, and we have to obey some of those scientific principles and scientific rules first. So if you understand aperture, if you understand shutter speed, if you understand what a low ISO versus a high ISO mean and how that affects your photos, it's really important for you to be able to walk into an environment and be able to control the moments with your camera, getting the best images possible for the situation you're in. And that will really help you start to be able to define your style. To give you an example of this, I was in business for a few years before I started to use off-camera flash in my wedding receptions. Many photographers use on-camera flash. They'll bounce it off the ceiling, bounce it off the walls. This is fantastic. I still do that depending on the venue, but it took me quite a few years to figure out how to get the flash off of my camera and have it work properly. Once I did do this, this completely transformed my portfolio on how I photograph receptions. This is kind of what I mean. As you're getting to know the technology, as you're getting to know your camera, you can start to change your photography style or let that evolve with you as you grow. So understanding your camera, understanding the technology that you are using, and then that you take on as new technology that you bring with you to every wedding and event will really help you start to define what style you're on and what you really enjoy. Another great way to help you start to define your photography style is to shoot every day or shoot with some sort of consistency. Not just when you're getting paid to shoot, but take out your camera, have a little fun with it. As you go out and as you explore the world with your camera, you will start to learn how it responds in different times of day, what you really prefer to shoot. Maybe you are the greatest nighttime photographer ever in the world, in the history of photography, but you never bring your camera out at night. How are you ever going to figure out what your true destiny is if you don't bring your camera out? That could be an exaggeration, or maybe it's not, but you're never gonna know until you take your camera out, start to explore, and start to have fun. I know once I started taking paying clients, I had a really hard time enjoying that process because I was so nervous about messing up and I was so scared that I really didn't want to try anything new or be creative. Like I said about the off-camera flash already, I was scared to bring off-camera flash to any kind of an event or a wedding because if I screwed it up, there went the event. It's gone now. Take the time to create, to enjoy yourself, to still have fun. And as you do that, you will start to experience new things, bring your camera new places, learn new technology, and it will just help you define what your true style is and what really resonates with your heart. Tip number 3 is kind of attached to that one, but I want you to take time to consider and to notice what you enjoy to shoot. So as you go out and bring your camera different places or take on different jobs that are maybe new and unique to your portfolio, start jotting down notes. What do you love to photograph? When do you love to photograph? Are you finding some consistency in different types of lighting, in different types of clients? Put all your notes out there, do a complete brain dump every time you come home from your photography, or even the morning after or when you're culling through your photos. But get those thoughts down on paper, because at some point you're gonna start to see some sort of consistency and say, hey, I really like this more than this, or even if I don't like this more than this, it looks a lot better. Maybe I should start exploring that avenue, and at least you'll have some sort of direction on maybe where to take your business next or which jobs to say yes or no to in the future. My 4th tip for you is to focus on what you're doing and what you're photographing and not just on yourself. If you are interested in going into wedding photography, it will be a very difficult journey for you to only pay attention to yourself the whole time. There are hundreds of people around you, there is high emotions and lots of people talking and distracting you, and you just have to kind of get into the zone and start observing the world around you and not think so much about what's in your head, but just photograph more so from your heart, but paying attention to the room around you. Eventually, you will start to see in your images and when you come back to your portfolio afterwards that you really are defining a style based off of what's in front of you and not so much about getting in your head and making things happen that just aren't working. So get out of your head and get into the moment. My fifth tip for you is to critique your own work with honesty and with truthfulness. And if you are unable to do that, find somebody else who can. At the early stages of our business, when we're just growing, when we're just understanding technology and we're understanding how the whole process works, it can be really overwhelming to sit down and tear ourselves down to some extent by looking at our photos and saying, I could have done better, or how could I do better? If you are going to be a photographer that's also a service provider, you are telling your clients, have confidence in me because I can execute the job, whatever that job is. And the problem is, if you cannot execute that job, they've put confidence in someone who they shouldn't have. So as you're growing in your business, we should be finding ways to improve constantly. And if you can't look at your own work and say, I would change this, or I want to improve this, or I'm going to figure out how to do this differently, then you need to find somebody that can help you, whether that is a mentor, maybe a professor at a school, if you take any classes for photography or anything like that, have them look at your work. Ask them how you can improve. What could I have done differently with my camera settings? How can I make this easier for me to bring this particular equipment to a wedding? It's important that you constantly are staying up to date on what you can do to improve, because the integrity of your business counts on it, truly. You are selling your services, claiming that you can execute a job well done, and you want to make sure that your clients are happy with that final result. So I hope some of these tips helped you. Honestly, I could talk about this all day. It's truly important for you to just gather inspiration from the world around you, but don't be a copycat. Don't just follow everyone that you see on Instagram or Pinterest. Try to go out and forge new territory. Create truly what's in your heart. Stop thinking about it so much. Just enjoy the process. And as you continue to shoot, it will just become clear for you. You are going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to do a little soul searching, and maybe even, like I said, get a little bit of critiquing from some of your peers or someone that's over you. As a reminder, we can carry on the conversation further on our Facebook group, which is All Things Wedding Photography. I've got that link down below, so feel free to hop on over and join us there. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.